So in today lecture, we will discuss the remaining part of the rotation of rigid bodies. Uh, so as you can see on the slide here, that the first topic will be the Newton second law and angular momentum, and then we will discuss about the gyroscope. So gyroscope is also based on the Newton second law and angular momentum. Okay, so as you are familiar with the Newton's second law in linear motion, so the Newton's second law says that the net force on particle causes an acceleration in the direction of net force. So we know that summation of all the forces equal ma. This was the Newton's second law in linear motion. Now the same idea can be applied to angular motion. So in this case, we will say that the net torque on a rigid body about an axis causes an angular acceleration about that axis. So in case of angular motion, what we will say that summation of all the torques is equal to I and alpha. Uh, so in this case, we will just replace F with tau, which is torque, M with I, which is moment of inertia, and A with the alpha, so which is the angular acceleration here. So this is the Newton second law in case of angular motion. Now the to define torque, so how you will calculate torque? So the torque of a force about a point is the product of the force magnitude and the lever arm of the force. So as you can see in this figure here, that we have three forces, Fa, Fb, and Fc. So in this case, if you want to calculate the torque, so the torque will be is force times the perpendicular distance here. So this L is the lever arm or the perpendicular distance from the pivot point. So as you can see in this case, the Fc is passing through the this point here, and therefore the torque of Fc is 0, uh, and the force Fa is close to the axis of the rotation, which is this O point here. So this is not very effective as compared to this force Fb. So because the force Fb is further from the axis of rotation, and therefore it's more effective, because in case of Fb, the L is greater as compared to Fa. So now we can also define angular momentum. So to find the angular momentum of a rigid body, which rotate about the z-axis with angular speed. So if you consider this body here, which is rotating about a point here. So if you consider this point in this body here, and the mass of this point may be mi, and this point O is the uh, is the axis of rotation, and the body is moving in this direction here. So it's the rotating in this case is counterclockwise, and the distance of this point from the center is ri. So this is our ri, uh, and in this case we know that the rotation of this will be in this direction here, and we can calculate the velocity, which is vi, which is r omega, ri omega, and this will be our x and y plane. This is our x and this is our y here. So in this case, if you want to calculate the momentum of this body, which is rotating about this point O, So to find the angular momentum of a rigid body rotating about the z-axis, so the z-axis is out of the plane of this paper. So with angular speed omega, so this body is rotating with angular speed omega. Now the magnitude of the angular momentum of this point is Li. So is the angular momentum of this is Li of a particle with mass mi at a distance ri from the center O, which is this point here. So Li can be written as, so we know that the momentum is mi vi, and then you will multiply with the ri. So this is the angular momentum of a particle mi, which is rotating about this fixed point here. So now we know that the velocity is ri omega. We can replace vi by ri omega, and you will multiply this with ri. So this will become m I ri square omega. So this is the Li, which you will just calculate with mi, and then you will multiply with the ri square, and omega is the angular velocity here. So now this is the momentum of this just one particle in the body. Now if you want to calculate the angular momentum of the whole body here, so the total angular momentum will be equal to summation of Li. So this means that we will sum the angular momentum of all these points, all the points inside the body. So this will become sigma mi ri square omega, and we know that this term, which is summation of mi ri square, is just the second moment of mass, and which is what we know is the moment of inertia. So this will become I omega. Uh, okay, so now we can also now introduce Newton's second law in term of the angular momentum. So as we already know about the linear case, that in linear motion, that summation of all the forces is equal to dg by dt, where this g was the linear momentum. But now we can write this similar equation in case of angular motion. So in angular motion, we will just replace force with the torque. So it will become summation of all the torques, and this will become equal to dl by dt. Okay, so now you can define this, that the rate of change of the total angular momentum, which is this thing here, the rate of change of angular momentum equals the sum of the torques of all the forces acting on all the particles, which is this term here. So summation of all the torque is equal to dl by dt, which is the Newton's second law. Okay, so another important point here is that angular momentum is also a vector, and the direction of angular momentum is in the direction of the angular velocity. So if a rigid body rotating around an axis of symmetry, L and W are omega, or in the same direction, so we have the vector relationship here. So we know that L is equal to I omega, and this equation is again very similar to G is equal to mv. So for the linear motion, that momentum was equal to mass times velocity, and here the angular momentum is equal to I, which is again inertia in rotational motion, and omega is the angular velocity here, which is again equivalent to v in linear motion. So L is equal to I omega, and this is the direction of the L and omega. Here is again the vectors here. So Okay, so now the similarly that we have the conservation of linear momentum, so we also have the conservation of angular momentum. So when the net external torque on a system is zero, the total angular momentum of the system is constant, which is, you can say, is conserved. So when because we know that summation of all the torques is equal to dl by dt. So when the torques are zero, so if summation of all the torques is zero, then dl by dt is equal 0, and the angular momentum L is constant. So this means that dl by dt. So if dl by dt is 0, so this means that if you just integrate both sides, so this means that then L will become constant. So this means that the angular momentum will remain constant. So if the external torques are 0, then the angular momentum will be constant. So the idea is the same as for linear motion. So this means that I omega 1 is equal to I2 omega 2. So if I1 is the initial angle, uh, initial I, which is the inertia of, in case of angular motion, so moment of inertia, and omega 1 z is equal to I2, which is the final inertia, which is I2, and I1 may be equal to I2, and omega 2z is the final angular velocity here. So omega 1 I1 omega 1 z is equal to I2 omega 2 z. So this means that this is the conservation of linear conservation of angular momentum here. Okay, so now this is a numerical example on the angular momentum and torques. So what you are given that a turbine fan, and obviously this example is taken from your tutorial. So a turbine fan in a jet engine has a moment of inertia this. So if you say the given data here, that I is given, which is 2.5 kilogram meter square. So I is given. About its axis of rotation is the turbine startup. Its angular velocity is given by this. You are given the angular velocity of the turbine, which is 40 t square. Find the fan's angular momentum is a function of time. So what you need to know, so in part A, the angular momentum is a function of time. So you need to calculate the angular momentum, which is L, is a function of time, so which is unknown, and find its value at t equal 3 second, and then you also need to calculate at 3 is equal to 3 second. You need to calculate the value of this angular momentum, and in part B, find the net torque on the fan is a function of time. So you need to calculate tau here is a function of time, and finally what you need to calculate is and find its value at t equal to 3 second. So you need to calculate tau at t is equal to 3 second. So this is you need to calculate. So in part A, what you need to calculate is L. L is unknown as a function of time, and because you are given the angular velocity is a function of time, and you are also given I, which is 2.5. So in this case, as you know that to calculate L, we know that L is equal to I omega. So this is the angular momentum is equal to I omega, which is, you can simply say that G is equal to mv in linear motion. So you can just write L is equal to I omega. And from here, because everything is given, so you can just put the values here. And if you just want to put it here, so Lz will become equal to 2.5, which is I, which is given here, and omega z is given here, so which is 40 t square. So this will become 100 t square. So this is our part A. So we calculate here the angular momentum is a function of time, so which was this part here. Now we need to calculate L when t is equal to 3. So you need to calculate then at t is equal to 3. You will just put 3 square. This will become 900, and the unit of this L will become kilogram meter square per second. Okay, and now in part B, you need to calculate tau as a function of time here. So now you can calculate tau, which we know that according to the Newton's second law, because we know that summation of all the forces is equal to ma. So we can write that torque is equal to I alpha. And now from here, we can calculate, you are given velocities, you can calculate alpha, which is just acceleration. So acceleration, if you want to calculate, okay, so in this case, this t will become equal to I, and then this will become d omega z divided by dt. So you will just differentiate omega with respect to time, and you will get alpha. So tau here, so I, which is given, is 2.5. And now you just differentiate this d by dt, and then 40 t square, 2.5, and then it will become 80 t. So this become 200 t here. This is the tz that you can calculate here. So tz is equal to 200 t. Okay, so this was required here. Now this is the one way to calculate tau z. You can also calculate tau z. This is one way to calculate tau z. Another way to calculate tau z is, we know according to the Newton's second law, that tau z is equal to dl by dt. So which is the rate of change of this angular momentum. So in our case, because we know already the angular momentum, which we calculated here, which is 100 t. So if you differentiate this here, you will get again 200 t. So which is the same as this one. So you can either calculate it using the this equation here. So tau is equal to I alpha. You can calculate it using this equation here, which is tau is equal to dl by dt. And from both equation, you will get the same tau here, which is 200 t. Now what we need to calculate here is tau z at 3. You need to calculate this value here, which will become just 200 into 3, which is 600 Newton meter.